Hello there, Assalamualaikum. You are now watching English News on TVS. These are the headlines.
RMCO extended till December 31st, 2020. CM received courtesy visit from SMG. Kuching, a surveilled city soon.
Chief Minister Dato' Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg today received a courtesy visit from Sarawak Media Group Chief Executive Officer Suhaimi Sulaiman. Following his new appointment in August, the former Bernama Chairman was accompanied by SMG Chairman Dato' Nurhayati Ismail, SMG Executive Director Sarbini Hamdan and SMG Member of Directors Professor Dr. Juniri Amir. Suhaimi was previously involved in the establishment of the Awani News Agency in 2007, with his last position as Chief Executive Officer and Editor-in-Chief. He was later appointed as Bernama Chairman on February 1st, 2020, before resigning in April.
Demi kepentingan saudara-saudari sekalian, kerajaan telah memutuskan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Pemulihan dilanjutkan sehingga 31 Disember 2020.
Muhyiddin Yassin has announced an extension to the current Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO. Initially scheduled to end on the 31st August 2020, the RMCO is now extended until 31st December 2020. This was announced by Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin during a special address to the nation broadcasted just now. Celebrating National Day in a small scale this year doesn't hinder the spirit of independence among Malaysians. Here are the public views on the matter.
Well, I believe that regardless where we are, either at home or watching a large parade for this Merdeka, although we cannot celebrate it like normal or usual in the previous years, I think as long that we have that Merdeka spirit, then we are truly Malaysians, we are truly free, we are truly united.
Whatever programs that we are having, we will comply with all the SOPs. Well, don't let COVID-19 and SOPs dampen our the spirit of National Day. Okay, we still can celebrate this year's National Day.
Bagi saya, ia ada sesuatu yang ketika ini adalah sesuai dengan keadaan kita yang masih lagi melawan ataupun berperang dengan pandemik COVID-19. Kita masih boleh meraihkan Hari Kebangsaan dengan norma baru, dengan cara yang baru.
Senior Minister Security Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in a media conference recently announced that the annual National Day Parade will not be held this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, he said other programs related to the celebration on August 31st may be held with standard operating procedures, SOPs, in place. To make Kuching a safe city, closed-circuit television (CCTV) will be installed at high-density city areas. According to Assistant Minister at the Chief Minister's Office, Islamic Affairs and DBKU, Dato' Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, 26 CCTVs will be installed at strategic areas along Jalan Gambir, India Street, Jalan Main Bazaar, Jalan Barak and Jalan Tun Abang Haji Openg.
Jadi ini adalah satu bentuk usaha yang gigih yang sedang dijalankan oleh Kerajaan Sarawak untuk memastikan bahawa selain daripada memberi perkhidmatan yang terbaik untuk rakyat secara keseluruhannya dalam era yang memohon Ketua Menteri untuk memastikan bahawa kemudahan IT dapat ditingkatkan di semua kawasan, ia dapat memberi kebaikan kepada masyarakat setempat, terutamanya untuk menjaminkan keselamatan masyarakat yang tinggal di sini juga kepada harta benda awam dan juga memberi jaminan kepada peniaga-peniaga.
In collaboration with Sarawak Multimedia Authority, its General Manager Dr. Zaidi Razak said installation works were behind schedule due to the pandemic.
Hopefully by early next year, or we are targeting actually, if no MCO, we are targeting by end of this year, they will be fully operational. But because the MCO, the restriction, everything, the physical construction, they will delay a bit, and hopefully by end of this year or latest by Q1 2021, will be in operation.
Meanwhile, the presence of CCTVs has received overwhelming response from the public, easing both locals and visitors' worries, especially for women and the elderly.
Dapat kami satu bagus. Kerana malam itu nak petang pukul 6 pukul 7 dah sunyi dah. Pasang CCTV siang pun bagus. Malam pun bagus. Lagi bagus malam. Orang senang berjalan, tidak takut. Itu ada kurang petang bah. Ya, kadang-kadang kan selalu lah. Tapi paling bagus pasang CCTV. Takut masih malum lah. Jalan tu punya sunyi. Orang perempuan, orang tua pun nak jalan takut. Ada CCTV, ada money sikit.
Meanwhile, some applauds the effort to mitigate snatch thefts, especially during festivities.
Mungkin bagus lagi dipasangkan CCTV. Kerana sekarang kita tahu ajaklah banyak ragut apa indah. Kita masal si tertentu lah macam mungkin itu. Banyak di industri itu ada selalu berlaku kalau hari keramian apa indah.
Art lovers in Miri can now expand their creative talents with the existence of Pakat Art Centre. Pakat, located at Jade Road 1, Miri, was founded on August 15th last year by a teacher and doctor who both have huge passion in the art community. Driven by their love for art, Pakat founders Katricia Lee and Paul Uy established a platform for all activities including art exhibitions and businesses.
So we would like to encourage people to express their creative side. So whether it's writing or whether they're sketching, they're sculpting, anything, even when they're sewing, they're doing embroidery, at least we provide a space for them to do so and a platform if they need to sell their products.
Having been in operation for just over a year, many of those involved have displayed their hidden talents. Thus, such an opportunity could help them create their own identities as well as widen the commercial value of their art pieces.
Because you will actually find many of them are Mirians. So once you open a store or when we have our market, you realize many of these hidden talents are actually in Miri. So they make dolls, they actually do calligraphy, but many of them have their products sold elsewhere, not in Miri.
Meanwhile, Katricia Lee was also involved in organizing of Miri Artisan Market, which runs once every 2 months. However, she said such markets has its limitation for artists, especially when it was postponed due to COVID-19.
Like you mentioned about the Miri Artisan Market, that was only run maybe once every 2 months or so. So it wasn't a monthly or even a weekly thing. Therefore, we wanted to provide a platform where people, especially during this time, where the market is even less likely to run as frequently, for people to have more of a permanent showcase of their items.
Through Pakat, they hope that more local artists get involved and take the opportunity to promote the artwork. Paul and Katricia welcomes all artworks regardless of its value, category or the artist's biography. The total cases in Sarawak have reached 697 following the latest COVID-19 case recorded in Bintulu. Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee SDMC said the case was of an imported case involving a foreigner from Philippines.
The 42-year-old man who flew from Manila to Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA2 on August 25th. He flew from KLIA2 to Bintulu on August 26. Upon arrival, he was sent to undergone compulsory 14 days quarantine and showed no sign of the symptom. According to the committee, the man had also undergone swab tests and quarantine in Philippines on August 18 and August 23. Upon arrival at KLIA2, he was once again asked to perform the swab test. The test results were negative. The man is now in isolation ward at the Bintulu Hospital for further treatment.
A man shot himself when fears of losing his livelihood drove him to depression. Pahuk Police Chief's Deputy Superintendent Poge Nyaon said the 45-year-old man took his own life with a shotgun at his house, Kampung Tabong Apar, Singai. A patrol unit rushed to the scene after receiving the report of the incident around 9:45 a.m. According to the deceased wife, the deceased has had underlying illness with no progress of recovery, despite seeking treatment for the past 7 years and constant admission to the hospital. The body has since been taken to Bau Hospital for further action. The case has been classified as sudden death pending post-mortem result. 17-year-old motorcyclist perished after an accident involving a motorcycle and a lorry at kilometers 10 Jalan Kota Semarahan, Sadong Jaya today. Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Alexan Naga Chabu said the deceased was identified as Muhammad Idham Liza from Kampung Tambe.
Police were alerted to the scene at 9:35 a.m. Pinned under the lorry, the male motorist was pronounced dead by the paramedics after he was extricated by the fire and rescue department. Alexan said that both vehicles were travelling at the same direction, heading towards Asajaya. He noted that the lorry was about to make a right turn into a private compound when the motorcyclist rear-ended the lorry. The impact of the collision left the victim pinned under the lorry. The case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987.
Kuching City FC is optimistic to capture 3 points tonight as they reopen their campaign following a long hiatus due to COVID-19. Kuching City FC assistant coach Sharizan Sahari said although the team were faced with difficulties during preparation, he is confident with his players in the match against Selangor too.
Nak misi malam tu mungkin dikira macam perlawanan pertama lah selepas tertangguhnya Liga Malaysia sebelum tu. Jadi suasananya mungkin berbeza. Sikit kayak kesukaran kita juga nak mula latihan selepas tim kena COVID ya. Pasti kesukaran juga untuk pasukan kerana si dapat mula kompetitif perlawanan persahabatan kerana di Kuching kurangnya tim yang training yang ada terlibat. Jadi untuk misi malam tu semestinya kita mau 3 mata lah. 3 mata yang penting. Walaupun kita walaupun kita kebanyakannya pemain utama yang mengalami kecederaan selepas masuk semula latihan.
The continuation of the Premier League will start with the Kuching City FC's match against Selangor 2 in Sarawak State Stadium at 8:15 p.m.
And now on foreign news. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Japan's longest premier, announced his resignation due to poor health on Friday, ending a stint at the helm of the world's third biggest economy in which he sought to revive growth and bolster its defenses. Abe was cited saying that he did not want his illness to get in the way of decision-making and apologized to the Japanese people for failing to complete his term in office. One of the strongest hurricanes ever to strike the U.S., Laura, barreled across Louisiana, shearing off roofs and maintaining ferocious strength while carving a destructive path hundreds of miles inland.
At least 6 people have been killed as Hurricane Laura battered the U.S. state of Louisiana. Of those, 4 were killed by falling trees. 1 man drowned in the boat that sank and another died of carbon monoxide poisoning from a generator in his home. The hurricane's top wind speed of 150 miles per hour put it among the strongest systems on record in the U.S.
And that concludes the English news for tonight. I'm Shira Abang Manso for TVS. Salam Sarawak Kusayang.